What is up, guys? My name's TheSimYin. My name is Yin. I play The Sims. Did you see what I did there? Anyway, guys, so today we're going to be talking about the famous occults in The Sims 4. Now, for a long time, I had actually no idea what exactly like an occult was called. I usually just call them like ghosts, mermaids, vampires, aliens. But an occult is a sim that has special traits and abilities that our normal sims like do not possess. So occults are also called life states. So some of the most common ones are like ghosts, mermaids, vampires, aliens, and spellcasters and skeletons, and also like these robotic ones, but we're also going to get into like every single one a little bit later on. And I didn't know this, but only a sim can only be a type of occult once at a time. So you can't have them be multiple things, which kind of sucks because it would be cool to have like a werewolf spellcaster. But I get it, all the animations and things like that, they're probably too lazy to even consider that. So the first one I'm going to bring up is skeletons, and obviously if you have Jungle Adventure, you were introduced to them, and they can be a skeleton, a temporary life state with some special abilities, and honestly there's not much gameplay to them, and you can't even make babies with skeletons. They have very little to no gameplay, so I just wanted to go ahead and get that out the way. So, and then the second one is going to be robotics, which is like the servos. So in Discovery University, servos were added, which are robotic sims that can build with like the robotic skill. And a lot of people found this actually interesting. And basically, servos can do anything a regular sim can do, except, water-related activities for obvious reasons, and try for a baby. A servo can build relationships, woohoo, get married, go to university, get a job, raise an adopted family, and just about anything else that a normal family can do. You know what I mean? And so the next one is ghosts. Now, a lot of people have something to say about ghosts. So basically, when a sim dies, a ghost, you can attach a tombstone or urn around your sim's home or yard, and then they end up showing up like a little later on in gameplay. Ghosts are unplayable as far as a lot of the gameplay, but you can also add them to your household and so interact with them, especially if you have someone on the lot that was there like maybe a previous generation. The cool thing I do think about the ghosts are like their colors, because they determine their mood. That was a cool feature, and I did find it annoying though that like sometimes they would come back and mess up my house and all that other stuff. But for the most part, ghosts have okay gameplay. I wish we could probably interact a little bit more. I do know there's a way to bring a ghost back to human state with like the wishing well, which I do think requires the romantic garden stuff if I'm not mistaken, but there's something similar to that. So I don't know, a lot of people have a lot to say about that, but I don't know, guys. You guys let me know down below what you guys think of this, because honestly it was all over the place for me. I wasn't really sure exactly how I really felt about it. And then of course the famous werewolves. This pack recently actually just dropped, and a lot of people are still getting used to the gameplay. And with werewolves, a lot of people had a lot to say because they weren't really sure exactly how to feel, just because of all these different features and everything like that. There was a little bit of bugs here and there, but basically werewolves, a lot of people were mad because they didn't have tails, and I get it, I understand it, but they also, you can be an alpha or a lone wolf, and if you got bitten, you can actually bite someone else and turn them into a werewolf, which I thought was pretty interesting. You can teach your little baby werewolf how to howl. There's a lot of gameplay with this one. I would say out of all of the occults, this one has the most gameplay. We'll get to island living and the mermaids, because they did so dirty, but we'll get to that in a second. But I will say that werewolves so far has the biggest gameplay. There's a lot to learn about werewolves and their origins. You can unravel all different kind of things, and you can find a pack to prowl with, meet your fated mate, howling. You can do literally all kinds of stuff, and there's different phases of the moon now. Like I said, they also catered so much to werewolves, just because just in general there's just way more to do than any occult sim, in my own opinion. And werewolves were made available in Create a Sim along with customizable werewolf features, and they have new powers, and there's just all different kinds of things like that. Like I said, this is probably the most popular occult out of all of them, because I feel like this is the most newest one, and because of recent things that they've been dropping recently, it hasn't been the best. So I will say that this occult probably overshadows all of them because of how much gameplay this has. Now, I did want to mention vampires, because honestly, vampires got so dirty with gameplay. It was kind of messed up, because obviously the world wasn't all of that, but vampires can also alter their appearance between their regular and dark forms, and they can use supernatural abilities, including super speed, turning into a bat, super strength, all that extra jazz. And a lot of people felt at the beginning was oh my gosh, this is really, really good. But compared to werewolves, now you guys know the gameplay is just not all there at all. They got done a little bit dirty, but vampires are still still one of the most famous occults because it's one of the very first ones that actually came out. Now, I do want to get into mermaids because I feel like out of all of them, Sulani definitely got done dirty, okay? Now, when Sulani first dropped, everybody was thinking castaways, but they ended up saying, okay, no, we're getting mermaids. So it's very basic gameplay, and to be honest, like, the only thing you could really do to have fun is probably go in the water, maybe turning them into, like, you know, a mermaid. You know, you can throw signs here and there, and honestly, it just wasn't meeting anyone's expectations. I was very disappointed in the way they did it. I also think they could do a revamp or maybe a future update where they could possibly, you know, include more of like a siren ability. I know you can sing to them, but also I just feel like there's not really much to do with them, especially if they live in other worlds. The only way you can play with them is, you know, in island living, and I just feel like on top of that, there's just not much gameplay. Like, it was like, oh my god, we have mermaids, we have mermaids, we have mermaids, and all we can really do is basically have fun and create a sim, because I feel like they're kind of pointless when it comes down to the game. But of course, you guys will hear all my opinions at the end, so just stay tuned for that. Now, the next one is Spellcasters, and you know, Spellcasters, honestly, to me, it was like a little knockoff Harry Potter. You know, you have the books they learn to do, and you know, you also get perks with other occults, you know, like werewolves and vampires, which I thought were cool. And then they also got to, you know, like fight a little bit. You know, you can like dress for supernatural success. You know, you can get in the spirit of sorcery with outfits that suit your sim. You know, just like over the top attire. You know, it was really nice. And honestly, I thought it was cool that you could also like summon a dragon, fairy, or the familiar that best suits your sim's personality as a personal guard, and give it like even a creative name. That was really interesting that they able to do. And you can also just learn the craft of anything. Like, basically everybody got excited because, I mean, we all love witches, so that's why a lot of people were super excited about it. So I don't know, there was that aspect of it. Now, I do want to get into paranormal, because at first a lot of people were like, you know, what is this? Why are they dropping this? What does this have to do with anything? Are we getting a new kind of occult? But to me, it was kind of like, you know, those people that like, you're like, oh my gosh, I can see your future, like, you know, I feel like this is the vibe they were going for. And although it's okay, and I do think it helps with the occult of the ghosts, because now you can like have ghostly roommates, and you're you know, it's like certain things like that you can even cleanse your home. Maybe like if you have a ghost like running around your house and you're getting like annoyed by it, you could also, like, with this pack, you can do like kind of rituals to like get rid of the ghost and all that stuff. So, and I do remember they actually brought back Bonehilda, which is very famous in other Sims games. So that was kind of like, you know, like a little play on that they did with that. And then, like, you know, they had spooky activities and things like that. But I also was like, I don't know, it was just really interesting. Of course, we're going to get to my opinions on the end about all the occults in general, but I do want to like just quickly go over all of them, so that's why I'm just going over this one. And it didn't have to do with literally an exact occult, but it did have to do with ghost. Now, the last but not least is Journey to Batu. Now, when I tell you this pack was so hated on, you basically either loved it or you didn't. I remember the Sim, James Turner, formerly known as the Sim Supply, was absolutely in love with this pack, and he was like so excited about it because he was a Star Wars fan. I feel like if you weren't a Star Wars fan, this pack did not cater to you whatsoever. But people actually do consider this part of like an occult. But I don't know. I just think like this whole vibe was just not it. Like, even like if you weren't into it, I feel like you didn't like it wasn't playable. It just wasn't fun. Like, I know you can't marry anyone in Batu. You can't, there's just certain things that you just can't do. You can't even live there. It's a vacation world. So, I don't know. A lot of people was like, if you're a super Star Wars fan, then it's worth playing. But if not, then this pack is just not going to be for you. But again, like I said, I had to include this in here because a lot of people did find this, like, you know, part of the occult realm. But with all that being said, now it's time for, of course, my opinion. So the thing with my opinion is, okay, first of all, I didn't even get into plant sims, but I didn't even bother to mention that. But, you know, I don't know. I know there's a new scenario with that, but honestly, I don't really consider that an occult either. But anyway, again, with my own opinion, what I think about occults is that I do think like the most playable one is, of course, werewolves. The only one that's worth it to me as of right now is werewolves. I do think there's a lot of chances for a lot of pack refreshes with a lot of these. Like, vampires can get a little bit more love. I do know that, you know, people were talking about seeing like maybe genies or fairies. Now, again, this is so far-fetched with The Sims 4 because we're going to ask for this and get something completely different, like you guys already know. I mean, honestly, it's more of like crossing your fingers of anything else besides like the bare minimum, because again, they are releasing and not releasing anytime soon, but they are working on The Sims 5, and we all know that they're catering to that right now. So a lot of the stuff in The Sims 4 is probably going to be like basic mediocre content or reused animation. So a lot of the stuff that they are dropping as of recently has been a lot of like reused animation, because they don't honestly have the time to be working on stuff like that when they're having The Sims 5. So do I think it's right? Absolutely not. But I'm just saying my opinions on what I think of it. I don't know. Do you guys think is there more room for more, or should they just, you know, get used to, so we get used to what we have now and then just do a bunch of pack refreshes? Now, I do think the last thing I would be interested in is fairies, because I mean, how cute would that be? And somebody even mentioned that fairies could help with like the garden and things like that, which would come in handy with like cottage living and certain things like that. I don't know. I think it's really cute. And also, I didn't mention aliens either. Aliens is a part of like a really big occult, and I don't know why I didn't mention this at all, because I know some of you guys are gonna get on me about that. But you know, they have different forms, they have another world, and you can have like alien babies. And to me, aliens are cool too. I just don't see them as like, I don't know. I feel like a lot of this occults are mediocre, and Werewolves just got all the love. And to be honest, I think they got all the love because it was the latest pack released that had to do with the cult. And on top of that, they knew better. You know what I mean? Especially because of the last game pack that they dropped, they knew better than to drop the bare minimum. So they were very on it this time. And I feel like maybe from here on out, we might get future gameplay where they either do like updates, pack refreshers, or if they drop a new occult, it's gonna be like, you know, the bare minimum will be where Werewolves is at. So I don't know. You guys let me know down below in the comments. How do you guys really feel about occults? And do you guys think they should even be focusing on occults, or just work and just, you know, focus on more like gameplay for like, you know, quote unquote normal Sims and, you know, everyday life and things like that? Because to me, honestly, you know what I would really love? Like, I know this is so far-fetched and we're talking about occults, but I would really love if they had something to do with, like, maybe the mall. You know what I mean? Because I know a lot of people were, like, interested in dine out, and we had a little bit of retail. And you could do, like, a retail lot, but, like, we don't have, a designated mall. And I think that would be so cool and such a fun game pack to, like, include in the world. Like, it could even be in, like, the Magnolia Promenade. So, I don't know. That stuff is kind of cute to me. But anyway, this is about the Sims 4 occults. That's a whole nother video. You know, maybe I'll make another video on that. But anyway, guys, let me know down below in the comments, what do you guys think about occults? Do you guys think they're worth it in The Sims 4? What is your favorite occult, and which ones do you guys actually have? The only one I have is Island Living, and I also think Jungle Adventure, but let me know down below in the comments which one is, you know, worth the money and which one isn't, and who knows, maybe I'll buy Realm of Magic. I know I have it for console, but I have yet to still buy it on PC, just because I feel like I haven't found a need for it. But you guys let me know down below in the comments what do you guys think, and I will speak to you guys all in the next video. Bye, guys.